What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? It is Matty P and Marky D with another episode for you of TDU Boys. We're doing a Steelers training camp Friday Night Lights preview, a training camp week in review. Marky D, how are you going? You've been putting content out like nothing else.
Doing pretty well, mate, but I'm a bit overwhelmed with just there's a lot of stuff going in life and a lot of stuff with football at the moment. But waking up talking Steelers is always good little, distraction or a good catch up, you know what I'm saying? So we had the Hall of Fame game yesterday. I streamed that on Steel Oz. It was a bit of fun, and I was actually,
what did you think of DTR? Because I was quite high on him coming into the draft.
I thought he was cool, man. Yeah. I thought it was cool. Now, I'll say it, like I was cheering for the Browns because I put a bit of coin on the Browns to win, and that actually won. So I actually thought they were going.
You're a heretic.
Yeah, man. Go Browns. No, I was cheering for him because I was like, it's Hall of Fame game. A few funny things. In the live chat, finally on first, he beat Daredevil, right? So I had told the live chat that they will show, I had an over-under with Aaron Rodgers being on screen. I said 24.5. He was on screen 26 times, Aaron Rodgers, because I can't stand him.
Nice.
Right, so I went the over. There are a lot of times. But no, the reason why I was cheering them on, I put a bit of coin, you and I, betters on NFL and stuff, put like $15 on, won like 30 or whatnot. But I'm not a fan of the Browns. I don't like the Browns, but I just feel, I don't know, I just don't have the overall hatred. I just kind of feel like the Browns is just the Browns. They're just a team that's there.
See, I'm more anti-Brown. I'm more Browns anti, like, how you feel about the Bengals is how I feel about the Bengals.
Why is that then? Because I just look at the Browns going, I
think it's because I feel like
for me,
I feel like with the Bengals, that was a particular team at a particular time, and I think they've changed a lot for overall for the better, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I feel like the Browns have always been dicks. They've gotten been more dicks since like everything that happened in 2019 and Myles Garrett.
Yeah,
and
that's true. Okay, that's true.
So do you know what I mean? So I feel like there's been like a reformation, if you like, of the Bengals. Whereas, the same thing as like, while we love to hate the Ravens, I always had a healthy respect for them.
Same.
Right? Like even with the Flacco. But the last few years, I'm like, no, you guys are like, you're led by Wayne Harbs. You are Wangs. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
so I feel like the Bengals are actually the team I don't like the least. But at the same time, when Pac-Man Jones speaks on Pat McAfee's show, I just want to go boom.
That's because for me with the Ravens, I feel like we have their number now too, being last 5-1 and Lamar Jackson and stuff like that. I feel like I think there's a bit more of a rivalry for me and the Bengals now for them being a good team. But the Browns, I just think like I've just never seen them do anything, never win, and we have had their number for so long.
I'll tell you how I compare the analogy, right? You got brothers, I don't. But this is how I compare the analogy. I mean, sport and mates and stuff. I feel like, and we'll get into Steelers stuff, but I feel like I'm in this Steelers stuff. I feel like the Steelers are the big brother that wins all the time, right? And then the Ravens are the brother that's like slightly younger, it's done pretty good. You can healthily respect that. Then you've got like the Browns who are like, especially when you're like 4, like this shitty middle shot, like this just like painful, whatever. And the Bengals are like the younger one that like, I feel like has actually matured. Like they've seen what's going on. They've been difficult and teamed up with the Browns and being idiots. And then now they're like growing up. They're like, actually, no, I'm going to follow the lead of like the actual good teams, like the Steelers, like the big brother kind of thing. I don't know. It's kind of got that dynamic to it.
I just had a thought in my head.
I just insulted a bunch of middle children.
No, really I had a thought in my head that would have got me cancelled completely about the Browns, but they're the.
Well, Toddy, all I'll say is I'm playing a bit of language massage.
You know what the Browns are to me? You remember Sparta? You remember Sparta the movie when they or the culture there where they kicked off the babies that weren't like fit?
Yeah,
that's the Browns to me. You know what I mean? They just weren't the healthy ones. But
right, we're gonna. So Steeler out west, literally 30 seconds. Oh, not 30 seconds. A minute before the show, I said to Mark, I said, it's gonna be very funny. So I saw this about an hour-ish ago on Instagram. which is finally becoming a very good news feed for Steelers stuff, funnily enough. But I said to Mark, this is one of the things that as fans, like, and true fans, because true fans, you guys listen all the way through, especially if you're someone in this channel. But like, we can sit there and we go, that's fine. I mean, I hope Matt Canada's not really leading that part from the offense. I hope it's more like Terrell Austin and Glenn Thomas and stuff like that. But I like there is going to be a narrative out there of like, oh, why did Mike Tomlin can't afford to miss this sort of stuff? I hope not, because it's Hall of Fame related. But like, you know, I just can see what Steelers social media is probably already like this, like out there in the world. People overhype the fact he's not going to this.
Should be fine, to be honest. Head coach not being there for one practice, even on his Friday Night Lights, he's
exactly
fine. And it's to me, it's one of those ones where it's a non-story and it'll be made into something really big. Something will happen, you know. There'll be, I don't know, someone get picked off or something like that, or Kenny will have a bad game or something. But this one's for the fans. This one's for the team to kind of get ready for, you know, the games, the feeling of a game sense as well. So, which we have a game next week, by the way.
So
this time
yeah, and so this will be. We're gonna probably do We're probably gonna do this as a preview show. We're working out how the times are gonna work for it, but this will be a preview show for that. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's funny.
Well, Toddy, it would beat the Gremlins. That's all we'll say. I know. Look, let's see. We could hate on that. We could absolutely hate on the Browns. You know, we'll do that come Brown week. We'll do that. Like, I'm gonna call it poo week.
I just think they gotta like, I don't know. The reason why I don't hate them. I hate the Bengals and I like the Ravens. I'm like, yeah. The Browns just seem like they're never gonna win anything. They almost seem like they're not in the division.
Like, I think that's what pisses me off. I hear this Myles Garrett's better than TJ Watt thing. And I think that's what gets me. Is like,
right,
you're not doing anything. You are stupid enough that you didn't think that your team schematically was perfect for Jacoby Brissett. You already signed him. And then you traded the future of your... I mean, you didn't really trade the future because you can't draft anyone. Money. You traded the future away, and you spent $200 million on Deshaun Watson. Like, I just... It upsets me. It upsets me because there are other places in America. And look, don't get me wrong. There's a part of that fan community that have been loyal fan. I mean, they say that, well, they've been loyal to two separate franchises technically, but like there are a group of loyal fans out there, and credit to the Brown fan that's been a Brown fan for like 3 generations, goes through everything's coped with the losses for like 60 years. But there are other cities in America that deserve an NFL team. And that's, I think, the thing that kind of makes me cranky is that, like, that I just, it annoys me. There's only 32 licenses for an NFL franchise. And, like, as much as we like to hate the other teams, as much as we're all, like, Steel fans, you know, you want the NFL to be good. And they're a basket case. And I'm sick of it. It makes me cranky.
And even last night was their Super Bowl because they won the Hall of Fame game and they're going crazy about it. That's why it's funny. Yeah. And the DTR did look pretty good. I thought he was a good. I've never seen him before in my life, but I thought he ran the offense really fun. It was fun. Came back to win. It was a good game near the end. But I don't know. I just find it just. It is funny. It's just like they're the Browns. They're just the Juju was right. Browns are the Browns.
So. Live chat, we want you to get involved in this show as well.
Yeah, let's go.
So I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, Mark, around this week, and then previewing the sessions about to start as well. So saw a lot of different things this week. Big GP catches, big, plays from JPJ. Loving the battle that is. There's a lot of people talking about that. You and I talked a lot about Pickett as well. I want to put Pickett, JPJ, George Pickens aside because everyone's talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
What are the other things that you liked out of this week? And as part of that, there a player on offense and defense that you think really we probably should be hearing more about because you felt like either the narrative around them, the position group, they did well with what you saw on the tape. Like what? Yeah. So.
First of all, I think I haven't heard too much about Benton. I would like to hear more about Benton, Keanu Benton. From the Twitters and the articles and the videos I see, heard limited stuff on him. It would be nice to see more reps from him, or if the footage I can get. But also, I liked the fact that McFarland's playing.
Tomlin actually mentioned him though in one of the interviews.
Benton.
Yeah, it wasn't one of the main ones. It was. I think it might have been his All Things Covered. No, it wasn't his All Things cupboard. Might have been an NBC one that he did. Anyway, there was one brief. No, Wolf.
Yeah.
Wolf mentioned him. Wolf mentioned him on an after show.
Okay.
And he said one because they said, "Oh, who were some of the names on the line?" And Wolf said Benton just looks like an absolute more. But he was the only one that said.
Yeah, I've heard limited stuff about him, and also I like what I'm seeing from McFarlane as well for that running back number 3. If he can be a good running back number 3, we're set. This run game is going to excel. Like he's been something we've seen in camp that we wanted to see from the very beginning. You know,
yeah, exactly.
Can
I just ask a question? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah,
is Handpink waving that?
I have no idea. When
what is that?
Like, unless you watch this stuff in like a YouTube studio or whatnot, we can't see it. So it's just like I don't know what that is. So we
get the
see
beer emojis. I get like the smile.
Yeah,
I get that hand move.
Let me see, because you have to go to YouTube to actually see that stuff. Hang on.
Yeah. No, you keep talking. I'll figure it out. You keep talking about
No, it's actually just a wave of a pink.
Oh, okay. It's because I saw Pinky. I'm like, is that what?
No, the StreamYard doesn't really do that stuff. I don't know why, but you need to have the other one open.
Text screen gnome game over.
Yeah, there's this. But you know what? Those emojis are fun though, man.
Do you know what's funny? I had that when Apple CarPlay came out. We're so way off topic, right? When Apple CarPlay, it's Friday night though, like on the East Coast. When Apple CarPlay came out, so I have my fiance is a scientist, right? And she's quite tan because she's Greek, right? So I have like an emoji next to her name in my phone that's got like a brunette and like darker skin and then white, and she's in the doctor's uniform. So it'd be like her name, so that Apple would read it out in that American voice, like so and so, and then it would be like doctor, medium skin tone, brunette with science bottle.
Sounds like a show, doesn't it? That sounds
like
a show.
So then I like signed people up that I didn't like. I put like a poo face, the poo smiley face emoji next to him. Yeah. So when they'd ring me and I'd be in the car, it'd be like so and so poo face emoji.
Who creates those emojis? Is that from Google? Must be Google, right?
No, I didn't start with Apple, but then they kind of bought it. So,
but someone had to create those emojis though. Someone designed
for a while there, because you know how they've got the green water pistol when they replace guns with green water pistol. You could could actually save. You could this is about 5 years ago. You could save the emoji of the gun and use it, but Apple then found out about that workaround. So now if you paste that in, they kill it. It's crazy.
My favorite's the shock face with the eyes wide open.
Oh yeah.
See, this is what Mike Tomlin's not around. We're getting off topic, man.
Exactly.
There's no Mike Tomlin. This practice is over.
Yeah. What's practice routine plays routinely or something? Anyway, so what about the defense? What on the defensive side? Anything that stood out? Well, no, you talked about Benton. So what about the offensive side?
Well, stood out with probably McFarlane, but what else has been standing out? I'm trying to think for the highlights that I've seen. Talked about Kenny Pickett for 20 minutes last week, so probably shouldn't go into that. Maybe the receiver. I still want to try and figure out who the receiver is going to be. Receiver is going to be. There's
like
just
the backup guys.
Well, who's going to be the 5th and 6th, and who's going to be the kickoff return and punt return. That stuff's really. I don't know. I haven't seen any information.
So I know who the pickup and punt returner. I know who's in the mix there now. He's having such a good preseason. It'll be Anthony McFarlane Jr. He'll be the number 3 running back.
You reckon he's going to do punt returns too?
Yeah, he's done them.
Yeah, see, we've got Flock and Ravens here too. He's a good fella. He's got a YouTube channel as well. See, that's cool. That's cool. That. See, that's what I think. Maybe he's different with the Ravens fans and also Ravens because we have one. We have
because there's respect, man.
Have established teams where it's like the Bengals and Browns are just like, huh.
Actually, I have a question for flocking Ravens, right? I got a question for you. Dana Jeremiah, Bucky Brooks did a show this week where they talked about you have to have an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And that was why they were saying that San Francisco 49ers are not going to win one this year. Do you think Joe Flacco, would you have called him elite when he won the Super Bowl?
Is that for me or Flocking?
No, that's for Flocking. I just want to know from Flocking.
That I won't answer.
No. I know what you think about it. I want Flocking.
I actually think he was pretty good.
He was good.
Around 2011, 12. When was it like that around that time? Like he's,
That's
Was
what
it
I
that
mean.
time?
Yeah, it was pretty.
It was
rock solid.
pretty
But
good.
I just want to know, Flock and Ravens. Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't good last year when he tried.
Hell no, because they couldn't come up with someone in the last 15 years that really wasn't. You wouldn't consider elite, and I immediately think to that team because he was a system. He was better than a system quarterback.
So he wasn't elite, but he was good, right? I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought
he was
okay.
effective. Like, if you're rating out of 100, you'd say he was like an 80, 85 out of 100.
He just wasn't good last year when we needed him to beat the damn Jets.
That's it. He was clutch. That's probably the thing. He was clinical and clutch. That's probably what you. No, cool. I was just interested in what you thought of. So the receivers, but is there do you like what you're seeing out of Austin, Robinson, Giunte?
Yes.
Obviously, we've got Pickens in the mix. Do you think we have too many though?
No, I think that's fine. I think it's fine. I think there's. Well, it's kind of a good question because if you got the three main blokes, that being
I just seen that last year. I was going to ask, right? Remember they were struggling because they were putting Claypool in the slot and they needed to get Freeman at the ball, and there's kind of too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah, they didn't really use Sims either to that point too, right? So the point is, I think I'd probably say is, well, how do you get Austin in the mix then by still keeping the guys on the field like Deontay, George, and Robinson, right? So I think this is a good problem to have, but you've got those four. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to run like a full, like a shotgun with four wide or whatever. I feel like they're going to use them in certain plays where Austin is getting the ball quick and fast. That is jet sweeps. That is short passing game. But then we saw him burn people too. So we do have a lot of talented receivers. I'll tell you that. I just don't know where. I don't know. That's why I guess to your point last week, we probably need a game to really oh, they came out in this formation. Oh, they came out this one.
Yeah, totally.
And then we can really go, we can dissect a few things more. But until then, we're just watching practice. We're talking about practice. So, but I just don't know who's, like you said, okay, you think the RB3 is going to do kickoff return as well or punt return. That's my kind of worrying, what's going to happen in that position. Because how many receivers did they take this year? Last year they took in 6, right? I think they had 6.
Yes. They did. But Miller went out pretty early. Oh no, he was out before the season started, technically. Yeah.
So they're going to take up 5 or 6. So, and you're right now. Now the problem is this offense is who to get the ball and who has the ball to make the plays, because there's so many hands it can fit into. Najee, Warren.
I think there's going to be a lot of Najee Warren sets where Najee's actually the receiver. You're seeing that a lot with the back, with a lot of.
And also we got to see too how Pickens handles the adversity of I know he's a skillful player, but I don't want to see him go into the AB situation of I'm not getting the ball. Be a team player, because he's come out and said that when he doesn't get the football, that he's angry. He likes to play angry, so he wants the attention on him.
I think I know what you mean. It's this.
I'm not worried yet.
No, I'm not. That's it. I still back him that it's coming from a good place. The reason why I say that too is even the respect that he paid, because I listened to the All Things Covered show. Even the way he paid it to Patrick Peterson, I think there's enough around him that. And the other thing that AB didn't have, I mean, one,
a brain.
Touch wood. Pickens, Pickens hasn't had his brain rocked out of his ear, his ear canal. But the second thing is, Pickens has the example of Brown to go off. You don't want to end up like this.
Yeah, I'm not putting any hate in him or whatever. I'm just thinking I called it the other day, controlled aggression, pretty much. He's a fantastic player. I think they're going to give him the ball and he will score, near 10 TDs. If
but look at those catches that he had against JPJ. I heard some Wolf and other guys go it all balances out. I would like to think differently. I would like to think, no, JPJ got his ass handed to him on a platter, and then he came out and went, okay, well, that was his, they talk about the welcome to the NFL moment, the Quinnen Williams, Kenny Pickett hit. There's different welcome to the NFL moments. Every player has them. To me, that's JPJ's welcome to the NFL moment of you think you're good, you think you're athletic. Well, it's kind of there's always a bigger fish. So you got to be able to take on the bigger fish.
Yeah. It's not a bad deal to have though for JPJ and Pickens to grow together for the next, 3 or 4 years or whatever.
That's it, man. There's some of these relationships where Kenny Pickett, Najee Harris, Kenny Pickett, Pat Freeman, Kenny Pickett, Pickens. There are these relationships Benton, Highsmith, Watt, like Minka, JPJ, like
It truly has turned from it from last 2 or 3 years, hasn't it? It really has. And I always go back to this. I still go back to the Big Ben stuff that I think Big Ben was kind of holding the ship down.
How much should I say that to you off air? I didn't want to piss off every Steeler fan out there. How much should I used to say that to you?
It is kind of true though that he hung on for 2 years.
I call it 3 things: cap, culture, and like.
Yes.
And what was the other one that I used the other day? Cap, culture, and it'll come to me. But basically, like I was saying this to someone. These are the 3 reasons why it held them back.
Because everything feels fresh, new, teams, camaraderie, this kind of stuff. And it's like, well, Big Ben did his own thing. And maybe the Big Ben Matt Canada experiment was a lot of to do with Big Ben saying, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to do my own thing, draw the plays up. And now we have a full off season into Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada in this system. And it's like,
hey, Yoli.
They've now got the players that are like the big players up front. And Darnell's taking on TJ.
I'll tell you a good analogy for it. Dan Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks use this one a lot. They use what's called the truck and trailer analogy, right? So you need a certain number of trucks in your team to pull the trailers along, right? And some trailers will be better than others. I feel like they, for a long time, had not many trucks and they had a lot of trailers, right? Now I feel like we've got a lot of trucks, and so when we're able to add trailers to them, they're going forward. Do you know what I mean? Like I think,
there's a lot of. Look, it's just, to me, it's different leadership from what I see throughout the interviews, and also different. I just see a different overall sense, and I think everyone's talking about this, like in the camp and stuff like that, from reporters and the players. Something feels different, and it's actually good for once than it is. Going in, because I thought that year with Big Ben 2020, the COVID year, crazy stuff like that. But we won so many games, the team was playing well, but nothing felt concrete. It just felt like, oh, Big Ben's time is near, and it's just stuff like that. So I think this is fresh faced, ready to go. Pittsburgh Steelers football physicality, number 1. You know what I mean? And the sense of urgency too from like guys like Cameron Hayward and TJ, like, yo, we have to win a playoff game. So there are things like that happening, and I think it's just something does feel fresh about this team.
All right, and this is where we definitely want live chat get involved, like label your guys. But tonight, Friday night lights, practice under lights, whatever they want to call it. I like Friday night lights. Who are you looking out for? What do you want to see?
Who am I looking out for? You know what? I kind of want to see.
If you take my player, I'm going to get really cranky.
Someone on defense.
Oh, we're going to take my player. I can feel it in my bones.
I know who it is now. Holcomb.
Who?
Holcomb?
I've seen enough of Holcomb already. Like I'm on Holcomb. I'm on that train. You know that. No, close.
I'll go with Holcomb. I was trying to think if Minka was going to be turning up yet, but I don't think Minka's even there yet. He's still on personal leave. But I'd say probably
there might be something more there too. Not his issues with the team. He might have some family stuff going on.
Yeah,
the way that Tomlin said he's got like my full support, and that I was like, yeah, I think there's something.
And also there are some fans on the Twitterverse, and Twitter is Twitter, the internet is the internet. I'm like, just leave it alone. Minka's fine. It's not an issue. To me, it's not an issue. Me away. It's like he's going through something. Cool. Not cool, but you know what I mean? Just let it be. Don't be like, oh, he's missing time. It's like, he'll be fine.
Exactly.
He is Minka. He's a genius. He's one of the best safeties in the league. But yeah, for me, with the Friday Night Lights, I'd say if I get some like footage like Holcomb like smashing someone, oh, that's a good one too, actually.
That's who especially when he said like, oh, I was like, are you going to say Herbie? Yeah. I want to see Herbie. I'm getting on the Herbie train. I want to see Herbie there. I think that's
which one? Which one? Nate or Nick?
Nick.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm interested about Nate, but Nick could be a very cheap and very versatile player for this defense for a long time to come.
TJ is pumping him up too. TJ is saying a lot of good things.
This is an X factor, and the best thing is, unlike the Steelers, usually where the third rush of the last few years has had to do something and not been good enough, at least he's got Marcus Golden. So if he takes a little while, that's okay.
That's a player I haven't heard anything about, actually. Marcus Golden. Nothing at all. Have you heard anything about Marcus Golden?
No, I also would say, Quan coming. look, they're likely to cut. They're likely to cut Kwiatkowski first or Muse, but I don't think it's good for Golden that they got Quan. Is all I'll say.
Okay, I've heard no reports, not even one tweet about Marcus Golden off the edge. Nothing.
I saw because he's wearing 44, isn't he?
Nah, 44 is Tanner Muse.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me check.
Because on the field the other day, there was a guy that was definitely not Tanner Muse wearing 44.
I think Golden's wearing something else.
I think he was at spring in the OTAs. I think he's wearing. I'm pretty sure he's wearing 44 now.
44 is Tanner Muse. Golden is wearing 50 something.
Really?
Yeah. Herbig's wearing 51. Roberts.
Unless their practice jerseys don't, because it definitely was not Tanner Muse wearing 44 on the tape I saw the other day.
It's according to their website, he's wearing 44.
I don't trust this. You and I went to the Steelers website.
Marcus Golden's wearing 54.
Maybe the bottom of the 5 was obscured, but yeah.
Dylan Cook's wearing 60.
Oh my God, Brian Brown, so true, so freaking true.
the Marshman, is that the cartoon? Is that the cartoon?
Yeah,
that's the American thing, right? Isn't it?
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
Stay Puff.
What about on the offense?
Oh, Warren, mate, easy, done. Oh, he does too. He looks so much like that guy.
Having a beer.
That's so on point. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. Oh, we need 2 of them together next to each other. That's great.
How about you guys live chat? Who are you wanting to? I mean, well, obviously, Brian said Herbig.
You know what? No, maybe like one of the other dudes. Maybe like one of the running backs we just signed or something like that. Didn't we just sign like your running backs?
I was about to say they're nobodies or no hopers, but that's they're not going to make the roster.
Yeah, even like a guy like, I don't know.
They're not going to have the fourth running back will be Connor. They'll use the roster spot elsewhere. Well, actually, that's what we should probably do after the first preseason game. You and I for Mad Monday, we should do one of our roster depth chart updates. Yes, Jared Devil. Yes, thank you very much, Spencer Anderson. So keen for him. I want to see whether they're trialing him at center because I heard that Nate Herbig's been playing a bit there. Because I think Spencer Anderson is a guard in the NFL. As much as I'd hoped he'd trial at center, he's an NFL guard to me for sure. He's going to surprise some people. He's a smoky for me to make not just to make practice squad, but to make the squad. So I'd rather than take a Spencer Anderson on the rise than keep Kendrick Green on the down. So
do you think this and I will talk about it too, but do you think that like the preseason game coming up is going to be really important for a lot of players in their with their chance to make the team? Or do you think they already know? They already know what's going on.
Like I think those fringe guys, yes. I thought you were going to say overall the team because it is the Bucks and it's like Kyle Trask and like Baker Mayfield. Like really, I think the second. Okay, I think in the first game, overall, you want to see consistency. You want to see that they understand the scheme, the people in the right places, that they're efficient, they're catching, the passing has like a 65 to 70% completion rate, blah, 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 blah. But in the Bills, I would like to see them experiment with different sort of like sets is the wrong word, but a few different philosophies and how that goes against like I think that game you want to try out those things now before you get into the season and testing those. For example, if they're going to do a heap of sweeps, right? I'd rather them test that against the Bills now and know that that's not going to work this year, or sort of seam routes and stuff like that. I'd rather them do that in that game than not do that, not really do it in the first game because they're finding rhythm. The third game, the starters aren't playing, and then we don't know what that looks like when they start trying to do it in the season. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to like Kenny be on the field. I'm trying to think how many reps or how many drives will Kenny even play. He might
he'll do a quarter. and a little bit maybe depending on the situation in Tampa. And I think against the Bills, it'll be 2 or 3 drives max. It might even be 1.
Yeah, because you don't want him to go out there.
But he does still need some reps. Remember, it's not like he's played even a full season. So you want to, and you want him to be able to throw. Particularly Deontay, probably it's less of an issue. Pickens, maybe, or Freeman, definitely less of an issue. But like Robinson, Austin, whoever you got next wide receiver is,
those game reps.
You need him to know where they're going to be roughly. Like you need him to feel comfortable that he can throw to them in a tough situation or off schedule or whatever. And you need them to know what it's like to get the Kenny Pickett pass and to have to put themselves, because he does throw people open. He actually does throw people open. And you have to be successful in the NFL, but Kenny Pickett does it a lot more than people realize. And people have got to get used to the scrambling in the pocket, all that sort of stuff.
I think we're going to be really surprised at Kenny Pickett's, second year jump. I think it's going to be really fun to watch, dude. I reckon
the fact that even he thinks he's jumped between spring and now, like, because he said it too. He even said like the jump from season to spring was one thing, but I feel like I've improved that bit more since the spring, so that's huge.
And people are starting to buy in now too. Have you seen that the NFL media this week are buying in on the Steelers recently? They're trying to get on the train now. They really are trying to jump back on. All the draft, all for the draft was they're fourth, they're whatever. And now they see how hard.
Yeah, DJ's going out there. He said on the podcast, he said he's going out there to do live from Steelers training camp. I know that Baldy and
Baldy was there. He's on
out there.
Kyle,
but he's always on the Steelers though. He was on us even last year. I like Baldy.
Kyle,
how do you do the Baldy? How do you do the Baldy?
That guy, man. I see one of the comments was like, I can't stop looking at the finger. I'm sorry, neither could I. He was versing like he was.
Hey, he retweeted me last year. I had a tweet chat with him last year.
Yeah, he probably got.
Yeah, I had a tweet chat with him last year.
Honestly though, it is out there. It's like, how is it all the way out there? It's like like an antenna. No, who's the other bloke too that's speaking well of us is Kyle. That Kyle guy you got the photo of
Kyle Brown. Yeah, I've got the shame photo.
Like end his career.
I don't know if everyone knows. Did I talk about this live on air? I did during the draft.
I think you showed it. If you put that out,
so if you missed it, basically about, I don't know, probably 5-6 years ago now, I was watching Good Morning Football because that comes out late at night Aussie time, and I noticed on the show they panned back the camera and Kyle Brown had his laptop in front, and he was on Google looking at all these women in bikinis live on TV.
Good man.
Anyway, I tweeted the photo at Good Morning Football. They're still yet to reply.
I'm surprised I didn't get him cancelled, to be honest.
I know, 100%.
So yeah, he's on the train too. There's a lot of guys jumping back on now. Not all.
I think it's to the Bills games.
There you go. That'd be cool, man. That'd be cool. That's in Hines, right? I'm pretty sure it's back at home.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Get that.
It's honestly no offense to the bloke. You look at it all the time.
Do you know? No, I'm not going there. I was just like, maybe it's a good angle for. Man.
I was gonna say you can play ring toss on his finger. Like there you go.
Oh, jeez.
Holy dooly. Bring back football.
What else are you looking out for before we wrap up the show? What are you looking out for tonight?
I've done almost on a 180 because seeing the football yesterday, I kind of just want to see a bloody game.
I've told you this. I've said.
I know, but I was very hyped because I think like when you get to training camp, the day one's fine, it's fun. And it's like then it becomes just the same similar process, and you're like, oh, okay.
Do you know what was nice? I got to say, as an international fan, I talked about this on one of the shows we put out during the week. Like, you wake up to all this stuff, particularly all these highlights at the moment from training camp. It was really nice to wake up today and especially when we've got the show like pretty early in the morning, right? It was nice to wake up and not have to look through like highlight after highlight after highlight after highlight. It's really
cool. But after a while, I think we get so excited for the day 1, 2, and then they all kind of flow in together. And it's just like now it's just like natural process. And also they're training for a game coming up in a week's time. So we should be able to not only talk about training camp, but talk about like what guys can we treat like a real game, right? Talk about how we can preview against the Bucks, stuff like that. Who's going to show up, who's going to do this and this. So I'm at the point now, I think after seeing last night's game and like after 7 days of practice, we're talking about practice. Like I think I am ready to see a game because then I can have like the full picture of like what the Steelers we get a glimpse of for this season. Like the formations, players, who's running well, stuff like that. And we get 60 minutes to watch, then we can go and watch it again. we can download it or whatnot and watch it again. So I think I've done the reverse. I've turned back into what you were saying last week.
How big on the decibel level do you think the groans will be if the first play tonight is a sweep from Matt?
If it's successful, it'll be fine. If it's not successful, then it'll be wrong. I do. There are certain points where I think it was working last year. In that Connor Haywood run for 40 yards, it was working. I think Warren got a few ones. So when it works, it's good. But the thing was, I think out of all the NFL, they use it 10%. The highest team to use that philosophy was number one ranked. They use it 10% of their plays was a jet sweep. Yeah. So but then it also sets up other things. But I'm keen to see how the new offense, new players, and Matt Canada being in there a year for another year, you'd think there'd be a step forward, not a step back. Because if you step back, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. If he gets 16 points or 15 points, we're in big trouble.
Yeah.
Like all this offseason talk is going to crash, and then we're going to go into something's going to change. Yeah. But I like the direction of the team, what it's going.
Yeah, me too. I think I also want to see, like, I think Grady Brown does a great job. I want to see like Curry's impact with the linebackers and stuff too. Mm-hmm. I want to see like that whole. I want to look at. I think the interesting tonight to see Quan and like how quickly he's adjusted, and I think for the middle linebackers, I think Holcomb's done a really good job in coverage, more than people realize. And it's what I said. Like if you go back to the signing video we did in the Goodham, I said, guys, don't buy into the narrative that he can't cover. I'm not going to say he's a coverage linebacker, but he can play every down, right? And I think but it is painfully obvious in a defense when a middle linebacker misses a coverage assignment. And so I'm interested to see how the Holcomb, Quan, Keanu Neal, particularly Minka out, like dynamic works there. And with Patrick Peterson saying so much that he's coming down more toward the box, he's not playing as deep. I just want to see how that all revolves and the communication that goes on, because it'll be pretty obvious pretty quickly if they're not aligned there.
Oh, it's getting close, man. Once we have this show, we've got Mad Monday, a few other things coming up, and then next week it's first the Bucks. So
it's man. It's going to be
wild. So close. It's so close because it's just actual football is around the corner. We have to enjoy every minute of it.
Oh, mate, it's it. That's it. Because before we know it, we'll be doing this next year.
It'll be over.
You know what's always funny? The season can feel, particularly with what Mark and I do with the content site, it can feel quite long in like the, October, early like November period. Like when there's that bye, it can feel like it sort of stagnates after the first 4 weeks sometimes, but then it just accelerates. I feel like end of November to the start of January is like wild. Like it's just done.
Yeah, if we're in the playoffs too, and then of course within the draft, that kind of stuff, and free agent stuff, it's all kind of fun. I think just really the June, July is really the quiet period, and then like it now ramps in up to this point now. I was like, okay, it's go time. It is go time to follow our team, because the Bucks game. Look, some people don't watch preseason. That's fine, but I enjoy every snap out of preseason. I'm watching where players are, what people blocking, or the big tackles, or whoever, right? I enjoy every single snap. And also because we only get 3 games now. We used to get 4. Yeah. So,
exactly.
And I know we have an extra game in the season, but the players are fighting for jobs, and you just want to see them, overall, are they being competitive? Are they focused? Are they hyped up? You know what I mean? Like just the football traits of a team that can be winners in the future. The fundamentals of football, those kind of little things. They're the fun things to watch for me.
Yeah, I mean, Jennifer, that's the thing. Quan is not perfect, but he definitely is an upgrade on some of their stuff. But again, this team's just got depth and versatility and schemes and stuff. Like, I agree. With the whole sweeps, I don't mind them. I think they got to be time appropriate. And I think that's the thing I think I'm looking out for tonight and next week is red zone offense.
True.
That's because if the Steelers improve their red zone offense, I'm going to do, there's probably a show coming out I'm going to do in the next couple of weeks on that one, going through deeply last year, all the times they missed that cost them the game. But like, if the Steelers red zone offense had even been 50% better than what it was last year, where it was able to like, score,
it's pretty bad, right? It was like
it was.
Like 20,
they would have won. They would have won more games. Like it really came down. Like it really hurt them in some games.
They got there too. They went all the way, got there, and then had to settle for a field goal or whatever. It was pretty
Which
bad.
is funny because in other years, toward the end of Big Ben's career, sometimes it'd be like, you can't get there. But when they got there, he figured it out. It was like, so you just, it's this constant, mind warp. Like
they couldn't move the offense down the field at all. But like Matt Canada's offense was, I think, one drive was like 17 plays. It ended in the TD. I think it was versus Panthers or something like that. But still,
Toddy's right there. Toddy is right. It's very obvious when you have a bad read. Like very, very obvious.
It happens in football.
And even Minka, like how many times, like that Browns playoff game, Minka had a shocker that game. Like that was one of Minka's worst games. Like,
that happens though. Like football players are going to miss certain plays. It's just you don't want players like Devin Bush missing every single one, or players constantly getting burned. But it is, if they find a weakness in our defense, they're going to exploit it.
That's it.
It's all part of the game. That's why we love to watch it, right?
Exactly right. Well, we've got a bit more coming up this week, as always, on Steelers Touchdown Under. Mad Monday will be back, so pretty excited to do that one. Marky D might be the first week, or it might be the week after. We launch a new little mini show on the channel from Marky D, which is pretty cool. We've upped the stuff as we get in the season, so there's a few more that I'll be doing a bit more regularly. Got some cool stuff for you guys, and then as I said, we'll share it more through the channel, through community posts when we fully decide how it's going to work. But this show next week will be depending on the form and how we do it, will definitely be a preview for the game against the Bucks. And then Mark, you're live streaming that game on Steelers.
110%. I'm getting
exactly. So you're going to get a heap of content. You can have you're probably going to get like 4 hours of Mark and Matty, or at least definitely Mark.
Yeah, we'll try and be like an hour before or something like that, before the game at least, and then I'll be streaming the game, watching the game, that kind of stuff. But I'll be on the beers at 9. I don't know what I'll be doing, but I'm just keen to like I'm so crazy. I was like so hyped for training camp. Now I don't care. I just want to see a game. After last night watching the game, and now I'm the biggest DTR fan in the world. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, trade him for us. Oh no, there's also another guy too. Did you know you do talk about him as well? I'm keen to see our players in uniform, right? Because the DeJuan Jones bloke, is that right?
Yeah,
he's a big fella,
6'8",
he's huge. He's like this. I was like, that guy out there. So we trying to get him? Was he a guy that could have fell to us?
Yeah, big time.
If we didn't go Jones.
If they had traded back, a couple of spots from Joey, he would have been probably one of the guys I would have picked. Yeah.
Imagine if we got Jones and Jones on both sides. Because that guy's huge.
It'd be keeping up with the Joneses.
That's almost as good as your Henry Toa Toes joke.
Nothing will beat the Henry Toa Toes. Is Yuli still in? Because Yuli, you remember this. You guys remember the Henry Toa Toes.
Keep it up with the Joneses. That's great. That's cool, man. I like that.
Good stuff. That's it. All right, well, everyone. Well, enjoy tonight's Friday Night Lights practice. Stay tuned for more stuff to come from us on Steelers Touchdown Under. If you like the show, hit that like button. If this is one of your first shows, or if you listen to multiple shows, hit the sub button. We do know a lot of people are returning. Want to get those subs up so that way you can never miss a show from us, never miss notification. The more subs we get, the more fun things we can do in the future. Thanks everyone to sub this week. We had a nice little spike in subs. So yeah, Marky D, as always.
Go Steelers. Here we go.